Hi everyone, my name is Armine Bazikyan, and this month we're going to talk about what happens when a loved one passes away and they actually did proper planning. They have a will and a trust in place. So in previous months we've spoken about how a will by itself doesn't really do much by way of helping you avoid the probate systems. And we've also spoken about how not having a will, again, doesn't help. So in this scenario, we envision a person who has preemptively gone into an attorney, created a will and a trust of some sort, and funded it correctly. So we're assuming everything is done correctly. So if you pre-plan, meaning you think ahead of time about what's going to happen after your death, and you go in and you talk to one of our attorneys, and you sit there and you plan out what you want to happen in an ideal situation, assuming everything is absolutely to your liking. When you're gone, all that needs to be done is your trust needs to be administered. This trust administration process is a private process. So when we compare it to that probate process that we were speaking about, in contrast, this is actually very private. When we're administering a trust, the people that are involved or the players that are involved are usually, the attorney, the trustee or the person that's in charge. The beneficiaries are sometimes involved, and that's it. There's no courtroom, there's no judge that's involved. It's all done privately within the family. So, your nosy neighbor Nancy is not going to be able to click, pull up the court documents and know exactly what you had, who you left it to, and what was going on, because a trust is a private document. So it has that advantage as well. So it will be administered through an attorney. And once everything is said and done, your beneficiaries will be the new owner of your assets, and everything will be squared away. It's a very simple process. It can be as slow or as fast as it needs to be, meaning we're not on the court's time clock. We are on the family's time clock. So it's very important, because a lot of times when we have to go through a probate, so let's say John dies and he didn't have a trust in place and we need to go to court to handle all of his affairs. Sometimes there are emergency situations that happen. Let's say John has a child who's little and we need money for that kid to be taken care of. If there's a probate, we have to go through the appropriate channels to be able to ask for a partial distribution. Whereas if John has a trust in place, he appoints somebody to be in charge, and that person makes the final call. Or maybe he writes in there that, hey, as soon as I'm gone, give money to my child so that he can live off of it until the final distribution happens. The beauty of a trust is that we can do anything and everything that you envision. And these are the complicated life scenarios that we consider when we're writing the trust. We consider the fact that, if you should pass away and you do have a minor child, we want to make sure that the money is available immediately, because your child needs it to eat, to take care of his day-to-day needs, and so on and so forth. So having a will and a trust in place is, along with some other legal documents, is the best case scenario. It's great that most of you have a will in place, but again, by itself, it does nothing to help you. It actually creates a little bit of a problem, but it's a good starting place. It's good to know that you're in that thought process. So contact our office. We provide free consultations. We'll sit down with you. We'll look at your family structure, what it is that you want, and what it is that you have. And we'll put together a plan that takes care of all of that and makes sure that not only are all of these things covered if something happens to you and you pass away, but we also want to make sure that if something happens to you and you're mentally or physically incapacitated, meaning not able to make decisions for yourself, we also want to make sure that that scenario is taken care of as well. Okay, so take advantage of our free consultations and give us a call.